Welcome to the deep dive. We know you're out there dealing with just this constant flood of information, always trying to be more efficient, trying to excel, really.
Yeah, in a world that just demands constant output, doesn't it?
It really does. So today, we're digging into the sources you sent over, and we've pulled out something that's, well, it feels pretty counterintuitive, especially if you're a high achiever.
It really is. It's quite a radical mental shift, actually. We're diving deep into how we think about our own capacity, moving away from that always push-through mentality.
Right.
And embracing something, well, more strategic, I suppose.
Exactly. Our mission today really is to redefine what it means when you feel totally weak or, spent. We want to turn that feeling of just crushing defeat into something else, a signal, maybe, for self-compassion and ultimately for building real strength.
And the core idea we kept seeing across all the sources was this phrase: a weak day doesn't mean you've lost.
That's the one.
And that paradox, it's really the heart of this whole deep dive, isn't it? When you feel like you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
The advice isn't push harder. It's actually the opposite.
Right.
The sources say you just need to let your heart rest. Trust yourself. This too shall pass.
It's almost like for strategic surrender.
Strategic surrender. I like that. That's exactly what it is. It's learning how to step back purposefully.
Okay, strategic surrender. But to do that, you first have to know when you're actually at that point, right?
Absolutely.
So let's unpack that first section. What does this universal human experience actually feel like? What are the signs, according to the sources, of a truly weak day? Those days you feel like you just cannot go on.
Well, the sources get really specific here. And I think it's because they want to differentiate. This isn't just feeling lazy or a bit unmotivated.
Okay, so not just tired after a long week.
No, it's deeper.
Yeah.
They point to symptoms of a real fundamental depletion, like days when your heart just feels heavy.
Heavy, like a physical weight.
Kind of. That deep internal ache, maybe anxiety or sadness. But there's no obvious reason right in front of you. Or, as one source puts it, when tears fall for no reason.
Ah, that feeling.
That lack of a clear trigger, that's key. The exhaustion itself becomes the trigger, you see.
I think anyone listening can probably relate to that. When the cognitive load just gets so immense, the emotional circuits kind of short out.
Exactly. And then even the simplest things feel impossible.
Like,
Well, the most vivid description was that just getting out of bed can feel like climbing a mountain.
wow, climbing a mountain.
Yeah. Your mind has basically translated the tiny bit of energy needed for just basic function into this massive hurdle.
So recognizing that feeling is the first step.
It is. And the absolute first takeaway here is acceptance. The sources all agree. We all have days when we feel like we can't go on. It happens.
That's normal.
It's normal. And it's not wrong to feel that discouraged, that completely exhausted.
Okay, but that acceptance, that's where the friction starts for a lot of us, right? Especially high achievers. Guilt.
Exactly. The immediate reaction is guilt. We're programmed, socially, professionally, to just push past that feeling, perform anyway. We see it as a weakness, a flaw, if we don't.
And that is precisely where we need to pivot. That's section 2, really. Challenging that whole definition of defeat.
Right.
We have to stop seeing the weekday as some kind of error message and start seeing it as communication, necessary communication.
Okay, let's hammer that home again. The core message. Feeling weak doesn't mean you've lost. So if it's not defeat, what is it?
It's an alert, a system alert. That's how the sources frame it. It's not a malfunction.
An alert, yeah.
They suggest it's maybe life or your soul or just your body kind of whispering, "You're tired, please rest for a while." It's guidance.
That's a lovely image, the soul whispering.
Ah.
But let's get practical. Someone's got a huge report due or a team to manage.
Yeah.
What happens if they ignore that whisper for, say, 6 months?
Well, the practical consequence is burnout. Plain and simple. Cognitive function declines. Eventually, physical health suffers too.
Right. If you think of your body, your mind, your heart as a system, that whisper is the low fuel warning light.
Ah.
If you just put tape over the light and keep driving flat out, you wreck the engine. You weren't designed for constant, aggressive forward motion all the time.
And that's where the nature analogy comes in.
Exactly. The sources use that. They remind us, look, we weren't built for 247 peak performance any more than nature has both sunshine and rain.
Okay.
Our hearts, our energy levels, they have rhythms too, ups and downs, light and shadow.
So expecting every day to be sunshine and 100% productivity is unrealistic.
It's setting yourself up for failure. And burnout, those shadow moments, the rain, maybe they're necessary for recovery, for things to soak in.
Okay, so weakness is the shadow, the rain. And the logical response, the tactical response, is to pause.
Right.
But that brings us right back to the guilt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For so many people, pushing through is how they define their strength, their worth. How do you convince someone that pausing isn't quitting, isn't failure?
And the sources tackle that guilt head on. This is section 3, the real power of hitting pause. They explicitly say, don't feel guilty for pausing.
Easier said than done, maybe.
Maybe. But we have to reframe rest. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's strategy. It's necessary maintenance. If you want to go the distance, sometimes stopping is the smartest, even the most powerful thing you can do.
Rest as strategy. Okay, I like that framing. It makes it active, not passive. It might resonate better.
Exactly.
But what does this strategic rest actually look like? I mean, if you've only got, say, 15 minutes between back-to-back meetings.
That's a great question. And it's crucial to understand it's often deeper than just catching a quick nap, though sleep helps, obviously.
So what is it then?
When they say stopping is powerful, it's because it overrides that deep cultural programming, that instinct to just keep pushing. So in that 15 minutes, strategic rest means actively disengaging the doing parts of your brain.
Disengage.
Could be closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. Could be just staring out the window, consciously not thinking about the next task. Maybe listening to a piece of music without analyzing it. The goal is to let your cognitive load actually drop.
So it's about achieving cognitive silence almost.
Yeah.
Letting the engine idle instead of revving it constantly.
You got it. Because the weekday, remember, it isn't meant to be permanent surrender. It's framed as your chance to refill energy to fight again.
Refill energy?
That's the recharge phase. You know, you wouldn't try and run a marathon on a flat tire, would you?
No, of course
not. You'd fix the tire. So you can finish the race strong later, the pause that's changing the tire.
That's a really helpful translation. You're not stopping the race entirely. You're just scheduling essential maintenance to keep going.
Precisely.
Okay, and what about the deeper aspect? The sources mention healing, emotional healing. Where does that fit in?
Well, they're pretty clear that the real deep healing requires stillness. It happens, they say, when we are staying with ourselves.
Staying with ourselves. What does that mean, practically?
It means being present in the pause. Not just stopping activity, but actually allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, the exhaustion, the sadness, the weakness, without immediately trying to numb it or distract yourself.
Oof. That sounds hard.
It is hard. Our instinct when we feel bad is often to crank up the noise.
Right.
Scroll through social media, binge watch something, dive back into emails.
Yeah, anything to avoid sitting with the discomfort.
Exactly. But the sources suggest the real healing, the point where the heart gets healed in a real way, happens when you turn that external volume down and just sit with the signal. Acknowledge it.
Because the noise just masks how depleted you really are.
Right. It prevents the genuine recharge. So strategic rest, it actually requires a degree of faith. Faith in the process, which kind of leads us nicely into section 4, the long view.
The long view.
You have to trust that this weekday, this feeling, it's temporary, and it serves a purpose.
That belief that it will pass. That's the anchor, isn't it? For someone feeling buried under everything, just knowing it's not forever gives you permission to actually take that rest.
Absolutely. And the sources use some really beautiful, almost poetic language here to build that trust.
Like what?
Things like, remember that no night lasts forever, and hold on to the thought that no storm stays without end.
Simple but powerful reminders.
They provide that critical anchor. Passage is guaranteed if you allow the rest, the maintenance during the storm. You don't fight the rain, you just let it fall. Conserve your energy because the sun will come back out.
Okay, so we've journeyed from recognizing the weakness to accepting it, pausing strategically, and now trusting in its passage. But there's one more piece, isn't there? Why are these hard days actually valuable? Beyond just forcing us to rest, what's the big insight?
Yes. This is maybe the most profound part. It connects that vulnerability directly to genuine self-care, or maybe self-love.
How so?
The sources promise that later, when the light comes back, when you feel stronger again, you'll look back and, well, the quote is amazing. You'll realize that your weakest days were the days your heart learned how to love itself the most.
Wow. Okay. Say that again. The weakest day.
With the days your heart learned how to love itself the most.
The days of lowest output are the days of highest self-love education. That completely flips our usual way of measuring things.
It absolutely does. They describe this as learning the actual way to love ourselves. And think about why that might be true.
Okay.
When we're feeling strong, capable, achieving things, our sense of self-worth can often be tied up in that, right? It's conditional on performance, on external validation.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you're truly weak, when you feel like you can't perform, when all those external measures fall away, if in that moment you choose rest instead of guilt.
You choose self-compassion.
Exactly. You're making an internal choice to care for your fundamental self, regardless of output, regardless of merit. You're tending to the system itself.
Unconditionally. Choosing the health of the system over the temporary win of pushing through, that is self-love, isn't it? Learned only when there's nothing left to perform with.
That's the insight. It's the lesson that the strength that comes from self-compassion, from truly caring for the system, that strength lasts longer than the strength you get just by forcing yourself to meet external demands.
That is incredibly valuable. Okay, let's do a quick recap. For anyone listening who might be in one of those weekdays right now, what are the key actions from this deep dive?
Okay, 3 main things. First, accept the feeling. Recognize it. It's a normal human experience. It's a signal, not a personal failure.
Right, acceptance first.
Second, prioritize genuine rest. And think of it strategically. Cognitive downtime, emotional space. It's maintenance, not surrender.
Strategic rest. Got it.
And third, maintain belief in passage. Trust that this feeling, this phase is temporary. No night lasts forever. It will pass.
Accept, rest strategically, trust in passage.
Okay. And just tying this back specifically to you, the listener, maybe navigating those high expectations, that constant influx of information, this whole insight, it's your essential toolkit against burnout.
Oh, so?
Because understanding your own internal rhythm, your capacity, and honoring its limits, that's just as crucial for long-term success as mastering whatever content you're trying to absorb or produce. Maybe even more so.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so here's the final thought we want to leave you with. Something to chew on, building on that really powerful idea about weakness being necessary for learning self-love. If those weak days are essential for your heart to learn how to truly care for itself, what strong habits might you be clinging to right now?
Strong in quotation marks, maybe.
Exactly. Those habits born out of guilt, always pushing through, never saying no, never scheduling real downtime. Could those habits actually be the very things preventing your heart from getting the rest and the deep learning it actually needs?
What are you resisting calling rest? Think about that. The things you currently label as strong might just be the things holding you back the most from real sustainable strength.
Something to consider. We'll see you on the next deep dive.